Okay, so imagine a rainforest 58 to 60 million years ago. The humidity is making your hair frizz up. You're sweating bullets because the average temperature is 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's the coolest it's been for days. It's awful. You're really thirsty, so you make your way towards, like, a river. And even though the water's really gross, because you're in a rainforest, you fall down on your knees and you start trying to scoop in as much water as you can because you're dehydrated. But there's some movement below the surface, and it seems to be coming towards you. But there's not enough energy in your legs to move away. It's too late anyway. You see a giant mass lurch up out of the water and open its jaws wide to swallow you whole. The worst part is you're probably the smallest thing it will eat all day. This monster you encountered is what we now call Titanoboa, and its size, along with the size of the animals it ate, was the stuff of children's nightmares. In 2005 at Cerro Horn, northern Colombia, one of the greatest discoveries was made since the Tyrannosaurus rex. At first they sent away some fossils, assuming that they were all just crocodile vertebrae. Only a second glance from Alex Hastings and some help from a grad student who specialized in reptiles, Jason Bourne, figured out that they were dealing with bones of the biggest snake the world had ever seen. After running the fossil through the snake database, the closest descendants of this massive beast was decided to be the constrictor branch of the snake population. This means that when you look at a boa constrictor, anaconda, or a python, you're looking at a similar but much smaller version of the Titanoboa. At 20 feet, though, in length, we don't think of the green anaconda as a small animal. But the truth is, Titanoboa was about twice that length, stretching about 48 feet long. This is longer than, like, the school buses we see outside in front of the school every day. Being this long, though, that meant that it was a very heavy snake, about 2,500 pounds, or about as many people in this classroom, 20. This made it very difficult for the snake to move around on land for its large size, especially since it doesn't have legs, it's a snake. And scientists were very curious for the reason why the snake grew so big, because we don't see that big of an animal nowadays anywhere. The answer was actually really simple. Reptiles are cold-blooded, which means that their size is a direct correlation to their temperature of their climate. And as I said earlier, the temperature was about 90 degrees. That's much hotter than any kind of the weather we're used to. All reptiles about that time were much bigger than their descendants nowadays. And with a massive size comes a massive appetite. From looking at the fossils of the animals near Titanoboas, they rationalized that many of those were part of the snake's diet. After all, when you're that big, there's not much you can't eat. Scientists also figured that Titanoboa hunted much more like a crocodile than today's snakes would. Since its size and weight slowed it down, Titanoboa is thought to have mostly hunted in the water, where it weighed much less. It would sneak towards its prey underwater and jump out and grab a hold when it was close enough. Strangely enough, most of the prey and its only predator was the giant crocodile. Of course, only the biggest of the giant crocodiles would have tried to take a bite out of Titanoboa. Even though Titanoboa was such an amazing discovery, it's probably best that they're not around today. Not very many of us would know how to handle a giant snake of that size, knowing that any of us could easily be its next meal. I doubt any of us would go anywhere near Colombia.